Some shadows aren't just shapes. Some shadows watch you. Some shadows speak. Tonight, we bring you 3 terrifying stories of shadows that whisper your darkest secrets, chase your regrets, and reveal truths you never wanted to face. Stay with us, if you dare, as the shadows come alive, and their voices are closer than you think. Story Part 1. I never believed in shadows until the one in my apartment started talking to me. It began on a rainy Thursday night. I was alone, scrolling through my phone, when I noticed something odd. My shadow on the wall didn't match me. I froze, staring as it lingered, stretched in a way that defied the angle of the light. And then, it whispered my name, Michael. At first, I thought it was the wind, or maybe I was dreaming. But the whisper came again, louder this time. Michael, come closer. I looked around the room, empty, every corner, every shelf, nothing, just me and that impossible shadow. I blinked, and it moved independently. It slid along the wall, creeping toward the far corner, where the bathroom door hung slightly ajar. My pulse raced. I took a step back, but my own shadow didn't follow. It stopped. It tilted its head as if watching me, and then it spoke again. Don't be afraid. I know what happened. I tried to run to the door, but something in my chest froze me in place. A chill ran down my spine, like icy fingers curling around my ribs. I whispered, Who are you? The shadow stretched, bending unnaturally, like liquid darkness. I'm you, the part you hide, the part you forget. I laughed nervously. That's impossible. Shadows don't talk. It smiled, though I could feel it more than see it. Oh, they do. And some, Michael, remember everything. Everything you tried to bury. Everything you regret. I shivered. I remembered the accident. The one I never told anyone. The night I left Darren on the side of the road after the crash, thinking he was dead. I had convinced myself it wasn't my fault. I buried it deep. And now, this shadow, this thing, seemed to know. You left him, Michael. You left him to die. I stumbled back. My shadow advanced, or maybe my fear did. I could hear the rain tapping on the window, but it felt distant, like I was underwater. I didn't mean. It was an accident. Accidents don't speak. Truth does. The whisper became a hiss, echoing in the corners of the room. And now, I'm here. I ran toward the bedroom, slamming the door behind me, fumbling for my phone. But the light in my hand didn't help. The shadow was already inside, curling around the doorway like smoke. You can't hide, you never could. I screamed, but it wasn't a human scream. It was raw, hollow, vibrating with something ancient and wrong. My vision blurred as I backed into the closet. My breathing was ragged. I tried dialing 911, but the line was dead, static. And then my phone screen flickered, reflecting the shadow. But it wasn't behind me, it was on my chest, spreading across my skin. Look at me. Really look. I couldn't. My eyes were drawn to the shape it made, twisting, forming faces I recognized. Faces of the people I'd hurt, of the ones I left behind. I saw Darren's face, clear as day, and then my reflection in the closet mirror, or what I thought was my reflection. Its eyes were black voids, and its grin too wide, too cruel. You thought I forgot. You thought I would leave, but I am always here. The next few hours, or was it minutes, are a blur. Every corner of my apartment became a maze. Shadows clung to the walls, the ceiling, the floor. They whispered names of people I barely remembered, recounting sins I had long tried to hide. I screamed, begged, and tried to make the lights stay on, but light meant nothing. Darkness was alive. It was patient. It was hungry. By dawn, I collapsed on the floor, drenched, exhausted. The rain had stopped. The apartment was quiet. I laughed nervously, shaking my head, trying to convince myself it was over. Maybe a nightmare, maybe sleep deprivation. But then, a familiar whisper came, soft and deliberate. Good morning, Michael. Ready to play? I froze. My shadow was perfectly still in the corner, blending with the floorboards. But as I looked closer, it moved again, separate from me, reaching out with long, liquid fingers. And then it spoke in a voice that wasn't mine, yet somehow was. You can't escape me. I'm you, Michael, and I always will be. Panic surged through me, and I bolted for the door. But as I touched the handle, I noticed something chilling in the hallway mirror. Another shadow, my shadow, was stepping out of the apartment. My reflection in the mirror didn't move with me. It lingered there, smiling, watching, waiting. I never left my apartment that day. I couldn't. Every time I tried, I'd catch a glimpse of that smile or hear the whisper, "Come back, we have unfinished business." Weeks passed. I barely ate. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt its presence. Leaning, whispering, waiting. I called friends. I called family. No one heard me. No one saw. No one came. Until yesterday. I woke to a text from Darren's number. It said only 3 words. "I know everything." And now, Michael, the first hear you asking what happened next. I can't leave my apartment to tell you. And maybe I don't want to. Because shadows are patient. Shadows remember. And my shadow, it's learning to speak louder. I write this as a warning. If you ever hear your name whispered from the dark, don't ignore it. Don't turn on the light. Because some shadows aren't just shadows. Some shadows are waiting to finish what you started. And sometimes, they're already inside you. Story Part 2. The first time I heard it, I thought I was going insane. I was living alone in a small apartment above an old bookstore downtown. The rent was cheap, but the walls were thin. The pipes groaned at night, and the shadows seemed different here. It started one evening while I was reading on the couch. I noticed a flicker in the corner of my eye. My shadow on the wall shifted oddly, not like me, but like it had its own will. I shrugged it off. I was tired. Stress was getting to me. Then it whispered, "Turn around." I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Who's there?" I called, expecting maybe a neighbor, a prank, something rational. Nothing, just silence. But the whisper came again, softer, almost coaxing. "Turn around." Slowly, I lifted my head. The shadow on the wall. It wasn't attached to me. It moved independently, stretching unnaturally toward the corner of the room. My pulse hammered. "This isn't real," I muttered, trying to convince myself. "It's real. I've been waiting." The voice. It sounded like me, but wrong. Hollow, empty, cold. I took a step back. The shadow mimicked none of my movements. Instead, it leaned forward, as though studying me, analyzing me. "You remember her, don't you?" it said. I didn't. I shook my head. "Who? What are you talking about?" "The girl you left in the alley. The one you couldn't save." My stomach dropped. Memories I had buried deep surfaced suddenly. An accident I had witnessed months ago. I froze. The girl's lifeless body. My hands, trembling, unable to do anything. I had blamed the darkness, the city, everyone but myself. And now, this shadow knew. "You lied to everyone. You told yourself it wasn't your fault. But I remember." I stumbled back. My own shadow crept closer, stretching its arms like black smoke. "You can't hide from me. I am your truth." I ran. Out the door, down the hallway, but the apartment felt different. Hallways elongated, corners darkened unnaturally. Every flicker of light made shadows writhe. I heard it whisper names I had tried to forget, people I had hurt, people I had ignored. I made it to the street. Rain slicked and empty. Relief washed over me until I saw it. Across the street, perfectly still, a shadow waited. Not mine, bigger, watching, and in the reflection of a shop window, I saw my own eyes staring back. But the grin was too wide, the posture wrong. "Come back. You belong here." I ran, heart hammering, to a taxi. The driver noticed my panic. "You okay, man?" he asked. I muttered something about being late for work, but I couldn't shake the feeling. My eyes kept flicking to the rearview mirror. And there it was, sitting in the back seat. Not on the floor, not behind me. On the ceiling, black, shapeless, stretching impossibly. And it whispered in that hollow voice, "You can't leave. Not yet. We're not done." I don't remember much after that. The taxi ride felt endless. When I finally arrived at my office, the city seemed normal. People bustling, traffic, sunlight, everything ordinary. But when I checked my reflection in the office window, I froze. There, behind me in the glass, was a shadow, smiling, not moving, but every time I blinked, it was closer. I thought I was safe at home, but when I got back that night, the apartment was empty, except for a note scrawled on the wall in black, in letters that looked like smoke. I'm always speaking. You just didn't listen. I can't sleep. I can't turn away from every shadow I see. The last thing I feel before darkness hits me is a cold hand on my shoulder, though I'm alone. And now, every night, I hear it whisper my name, always closer, always patient, always me. Some nights, I wonder if it will ever stop. Some nights, I wonder if I even want it to. Because the shadow, it knows me better than I know myself. Story, Part 3. It started on the night I moved into the old apartment on Whitmore Street. Cheap rent, creaking floors, and a strange smell of damp wood that never went away. I thought I was used to strange things, but I wasn't ready for this. The first time I noticed it, I was brushing my teeth, staring at the bathroom mirror. My shadow stretched oddly against the wall. I shrugged it off. After all, the single overhead bulb made everything look weird. But then I saw it move independently. Not just my movements, but extra steps, bending in impossible ways. Don't look away. I jumped. My hands froze on the sink. Who's there? I whispered. Silence. I'm here, waiting. I spun around. Nothing. My apartment was empty. And yet, the shadow on the wall moved again, stretching closer to me. Its form was wrong. Too long, too thin, like smoke made solid. I ran to the living room. The shadow followed, sliding along the walls, ignoring the light. It whispered again, this time my full name. Slowly, deliberately, Ethan Carter. That's when I remembered. The fire. 2 years ago. My old apartment, my old roommate. I'd left the building, convinced it was under control, but I had been careless. Someone didn't make it out. I never told anyone. I never faced it. And now, this shadow knew. You left him. You let him burn. My stomach dropped. I tried to turn on every light, but the shadow didn't stop. It only stretched more, creeping across the ceiling, down the walls, as if feeding on my fear. Truth cannot be hidden. You can't hide from me. I backed into the kitchen. The fridge light flickered on, and I saw it clearly for the first time. My own face in its shape, twisted, hollow eyes, grinning too wide. It spoke in my voice. Do you remember his screams? Do you remember how it smelled? You thought it would fade, but I remember. I ran out the door into the stairwell. Every shadow on every landing moved on its own. Long fingers reached from the walls. The emergency lights flickered. I stumbled down 3 flights before I finally reached the street. The city was quiet. Too quiet. And then I felt it, behind me, cold, pressing against the small of my back, the whisper again. You can't escape me. I turned slowly. Nothing but my own shadow on the pavement. Except it wasn't right. It moved before I did, crouching, tilting, waiting. And as I watched, it stretched into shapes I knew, faces of the people I had wronged, faces of the ones I left behind, screaming silently. I ran home, barricaded the door, and tried to sleep. But every corner of my apartment was alive. Shadows whispered my secrets, my lies, every single one. I didn't leave for days. When I looked into a mirror, the reflection didn't move with me. It stared, grinning. And then the knock came, slow, deliberate, on the door I had locked. I didn't answer. The shadow pressed against the door, whispering, "Let me in." The next morning, the police found my apartment empty. Not a sound, not a clue, just a note scrawled across the wall in black letters. He's still inside you, and I never forget. I don't know how much longer I can hold it. Every shadow in my home, outside, on the street, it's watching, whispering, waiting. And I know now the truth. Some shadows aren't just shapes. Some shadows speak. And some shadows live inside you. The end.